Nope.
Hello, dear listener. This week's video is sponsored by Tidbit. Tidbit is a brand new social media app that allows you to discover more about yourself and your closest friends in an intimate, honest, and fun setting, free from the bias and BS of most social media. I'll be giving away some t-shirts in a contest that will be running all month long. Details on how to enter and win will be at the end of this video. Until then, sit back, relax, and enjoy 4 creepy Instagram stories. Number 1. I decided to follow an account that looked interesting. A few days later, I received a message from a man who started following me on Facebook and Instagram. He was the owner of the account. He looked familiar, but I dismissed it as an average old white guy with a beer gut look and took no immediate action. But he and his son started commenting on my feed. The page had a gothic theme, but as time went on, the memes were replaced more and more, often by photos of young people in gothic dresses. The posts inundated my feed. I was missing posts from family and friends. So, after parking outside of one of my workplaces one day, I decided to unfollow the account. On Facebook, I decided to unfriend the admin of the page, and I deleted my Instagram altogether. I do that off and on whenever it becomes redundant. So, no worries, right? Just some guy, someplace. Won't notice anything, so no problem. Blocking him did not work in the way I expected. I went into my job. I went out to the front area. I see hundreds upon hundreds of people every day, but this guy, came running into the door of the business, holding his phone. He stopped 6 feet in front of me. He looked at his phone, and then looked back at me, and then ran out of the door. I knew right away. It was the page admin. He had been stalking me. So, wherever you are now, let's not meet. Number 2. So this happened to me a few years ago, and I'm not much of a writer, so I'm sorry if this story seems jumbled. This happened towards the end of my 8th grade year. My friend had this guy who was following her on Instagram, and he would comment on all of her posts, telling her how pretty she was. Now, this wasn't super weird, but we did find it kind of creepy, because this dude was obviously in his late 50s, and she was only 13. Eventually, he began to direct message her every day. Not anything overly creepy, just small talk at first. Eventually, he finds my page and starts commenting on it as well. But I don't post pictures of myself online very much, and it was basically just doodles and pictures of my dog. Now, this guy's account also mainly consisted of art, and most of it was actually pretty good, so I didn't mind him commenting on my art at first. But over time, he started to direct message me as well, trying to spark conversations. Now, I've got pretty bad anxiety, and I hate coming across as mean, so I wouldn't really respond with words unless he asked me a direct question. Mainly, I would reply in emojis like hearts and smiley faces. This continues for a few weeks, and I learned that this guy can randomly blow up. I learned this because I had responded to a message from him asking my age, and told him I was 13. And then I immediately put my phone down because I had to do some dishes. When I came back to my phone, I had roughly 10 messages from him asking why I wasn't responding, and also telling me that he was joking. I learned that he said that because he had commented that my friend and I both look 18, not 13, which was pretty creepy. I didn't want to confront him about it, so I told him it was fine and that I was just doing chores. The conversation moved on, and I made an excuse to stop messaging him for the day. There was one time where I felt extremely uncomfortable. I had posted a picture of my grandma's dog, which is a corgi, and I had put a caption about how much I love the dog. After a day or so, he sends me a picture of a corgi that he drew for me. I hesitantly thanked him for the drawing, but that wasn't enough. He asked me for my address so that he could send me a physical copy of the picture. I refused, but he kept asking and telling me that it was a gift and that he wanted me to have it. I had to send a message explaining that it was a family rule and that I wasn't allowed to give him my address. He eventually dropped it. Finally, after a bunch of little creepy things that he did, my friend blocked him, so he started ranting about it to me. He kept insisting that she was wrong to feel threatened by him, that he was just trying to be nice, and that if she had a problem with anything he was saying, she should have just told him. He basically continued like that for the next few days. He eventually revealed that he was following her backup account, and that he would just start talking to her on that. I immediately told my friend about it, and she blocked him on her backup as well. I stopped responding to him and blocked him myself. Creepy artist guy on Instagram. I hope we never meet. Number 3. Yesterday, I was at my local coffee shop to study for an exam. I was sitting at a long table, and at some point, a guy asks if he can sit on the other end. He's working away on his computer, and then decides to ask me what I'm studying for. He leaves to take a smoke break, and when he comes back, he asks if I like his blog post. I have no idea what he's talking about, so I put on my glasses to read the title. Quote, "Basic White Bitches." I told him I didn't know what he was talking about, and got back to my studying. When I pack up to leave, he asked me for my Instagram handle. I didn't think much of it. I live in a friendly neighborhood, so I gave it to him and left. About an hour later, I see that he had added me, and I decided to check out his WordPress blog that he had linked in his bio. His most recent post was titled, quote, "This white girl at the coffee shop." It described how he believed I had gotten into his computer, scrolled down to read his blog post on how he hates white women, and then lied about it. I commented on the blog post saying I didn't touch his computer. Then I blocked his Instagram. I wasn't too worried about it because I didn't frequent that coffee joint, and it seemed like some weird one-off encounter. Today, I found an email in my inbox from the guy. I'm guessing he got my email from the comment I made.
"You didn't have to tell me your Instagram username if you were uncomfortable. I was just being friendly. But blocking me after giving me your username? That's just petty. And I'm definitely not interested or attracted to you. I have a girlfriend. So I see no reason for you to feel uncomfortable. So who did snoop on my laptop anyway? Surely you saw who did it if you were sitting just 5 feet away. After I followed you, who made you click on my link to get to my blog if you knew nothing about it? I've never clicked on a WordPress link. Everyone hates random people's blogs. You wouldn't have clicked on it if you didn't already know where it was going. I'm not even interested in this topic anymore. I'm bored. I just like to drag things on for the hell of it. You can keep trying to cover it up, but I know how people work. I'm not even mad. I'm just slightly entertained that you are so persistent in your lies. Anyway, I'ma dip the hell out of here because I don't want to make you uncomfortable or anything. My advice to you is don't give out your Instagram username if you're just gonna block someone. Wasting my time and yours. Millennials are too damn shy, and I'm here to make a difference. No kid my age will open their mouth to a random stranger, so I have to take up the slack of everyone my age.
Yeah, totally bad shit. One small unimportant detail that I forgot, he had a book next to his computer. I'll admit, I did read the title of that book, 'cause it was right next to me. It was the Communist Manifesto. So, crazy communist guy at the coffee shop, let's never meet again. Number 4. My best friend is a social media influencer. She's not big time, but has a big enough following to get some free stuff, and has gotten 2 sponsored trips out of it. She still works full time, but does the Instagram thing on the side, mostly because of the perks. She's not big enough to live off of that exclusively just yet. Anyway, this was her first trip. A little boutique hotel from Miami contacted her via Instagram direct messages and offered her an all-expense-paid trip to Miami for Memorial Day weekend 2018 in exchange for her to be in the hotel and take photos, do a couple of stories, etc., etc. They told her she could bring a female friend with her if she wanted to, and everything would be covered. This was her first time doing this, so at the time she wasn't really sure of how it worked. They sent her a long contract for her to sign, and said that she would be responsible for paying for her ticket to Miami, and that she would be reimbursed later on. This was to prevent a no-show, meaning that the influencer gets the ticket purchased by the hotel and the influencer never shows up. It seemed reasonable at the time. Instead of inviting a female friend, she invited me, her gay best friend, because she was nervous about the whole thing. We figured it wouldn't be a big deal, and that worst case scenario, they don't want to pay for my plane ticket, and that she would cover it for me. We were supposed to get picked up by the hotel at the airport, so the day comes and we arrive to Miami. We found a guy holding a sign with her last name, and the paper has the hotel logo. We are greeted and then escorted to a black SUV. Here is where things start to get weird. As soon as we're getting in the car, the driver is visibly upset. We thought he was talking to the guy who walked us over, but he was talking to my friend. He had a very thick accent and was wearing dark shades. He began berating my friend, saying that she was not allowed to bring her boyfriend, who he assumed I was. 2 girls! 2 girls! Hotel told me 2 girls! No 1 girl, 1 guy! 2 girls! He was demanding to see where the other girl was. We were speechless and confused. The guy who walked us to the car looked annoyed, got in the passenger seat, and started to fight with the driver in Portuguese. Then he turns to us and asks us where the other girl is. My friend, who by now was understandably upset, tells him that there is no other girl, that she was, insert username here, and that I was just a friend that was coming with her on the trip. The big guy in the passenger seat gets out, tosses our luggage out of the car, and says something like, "This is some bullshit." He then got back in the car and they sped off. That was it. We were both in shock. Utter and complete shock. My friend immediately emails, quote, Melissa, the supposed PR person we had been contacting through email, and tells her what happened. No response. We decided we would take a cab to the hotel to confront them directly. When we did, everything started to make sense. The hotel had been rebranded and had a completely different name, different owner, different staff. We showed them the Instagram profile for the hotel, and they confirmed it was the correct account, but not for the new hotel. What we were looking at was the account for the old hotel. They never contacted us. They never did anything. Whoever was in charge of the old Instagram account for the old hotel, or at least whoever got a hold of it, did. Mind you, this was a somewhat big hotel account with 10,000 something followers. It was real, but upon further inspection, we realized the pictures were really old, and so were all of the posts. My friend felt like an idiot and would not stop crying. We called the police and met with a detective, but nothing ever came out of it. They investigated who was running the account before and who had access to it, but none of the people who used to run that account had anything to do with this scam. It's extremely upsetting and scary to know that whoever wanted to abduct my friend and any girl that she would have brought with knew exactly who my friend was and chose her as a target. The Instagram has since been deleted, and we never heard anything from anyone ever again. But to think my friend would have been kidnapped had she gone with a girl instead of me sends shivers down my spine. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment, share it with a friend. As I promised at the start of this video, here are the rules on how to enter the Tidbit t-shirt giveaway. Tidbit, like I said, is a brand new social media app. It is available on iOS and Android. All you have to do is download Tidbit, find me on the app. My name is Dan David. I'll put up a screenshot right now of my profile with the photo I'm using so you can find me easier. Once I accept you, shoot me a direct message with this week's code word. In this case, the code word is Instagram. I repeat, the code word for this week is Instagram. Once you do that, you'll be entered to win when the names are chosen at the end of the month. Every week when I post a new video on Tuesday, I'll also have a new code word and a new chance for you to send me that code word. And so you'll have 4 chances to enter for the month. And you can enter those 4 times, and that's going to increase your odds of winning. As of now, I'll be giving away 3 shirts. But if we get enough people participating, I might bump that up. Oh, and you can only win 1 shirt, alright? Sound good? Awesome. I hope to see you guys on Tidbit soon. Until next time, everybody, remember to stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.